Focus, people. Let's stay focused. It's your boy Tone 202. And I have been once again asked to throw out some predictions. Now, being that, I am a person who's a skeptic about every sport, some of my subscribers, thank you very much, guys, who, watch a lot of sports, and now they're watching other sports because they want to hear my prediction on those other sports. I thank you guys. Now, I want you guys to know that, being that I haven't watched sports, period, in a very, very, very long time, a lot of my predictions are going to sound really wacky, crazy, you know what I mean? Because I don't know who the players are, like literally. Not the puppets behind them, just I don't know who the players are. So this time I've been asked to give a prediction on tennis. Venus and Serena, Roger Federer, you know what I mean? I can just throw out a couple favorite names that I hear around the old tennis court, or the water cooler. But, Steffi Graf, I don't even know who's playing anymore. I really don't. So, what I first do is I go to, good old YouTube or some type of media outlet, and then I start listening to what they have to say on who's doing what, injuries, so on and so forth. So let's grab some information here real quick.
Has a qualification. It's if they're healthy, they're going to do this. I don't think they ever forgot how to play tennis. I think health is probably tough, and the recovery time is longer. We don't know about Roger's back. It looked very average in the final of Canada. Rafa has been maybe less than Rafa the last couple of weeks. So it's a good question. I think all things considered, if we're assuming health, I think Roger's got a lot of momentum going.
Yeah, I would say the same. The huge qualifier is the health. And if Roger's healthy, if he took Cincinnati off and got himself back to being healthy, I'd put him in as possibly the favorite.
Okay, so there's some...
Although I understand that the pressure gets, just builds more and more, and it'll be whether or not mentally he can handle that kind of pressure as it goes 2 weeks into it. But he does have that talent, so you've seen that he can beat everyone in the world. So I think he has a chance.
I think the guy that's next in line, maybe to win a major and possibly be number one in the world is Alex Zverev. And I actually retweeted the tweet that I sent out 2 years ago when I said this guy's the most exciting guy that I've watched in a long time as far as a young player. I think Kyrgios is probably the most talented young player on earth. I like Zverev winning Washington, following it up with a win in Canada. It seems like he's just there every single week, which I think is why you make him the guy.
All right, so there's some predictions. I don't know who these people are. But there's a few predictions just being thrown out, okay? And they are thrown out by a couple, players, actually, Blake and Roderick. So there's some of that. And on the women's side, and now for the women's side, yes, Open Tennis Wednesday, Tuesday, schedule results, teams, favorites, and predictions. I am not going to read this whole thing, but of course, Venus and Serena, they're right up there. Now, let's start getting into some of this. Let's start getting into who's got some issues and who doesn't. What the public sees. What's going on with them in the public eye, because in my eyes, that makes a difference. You know what I mean? So, who is it, Venus, that got into the car accident, right? I think she just got married, too, and had a baby. I don't know. But she got into the car accident where she was at fault, but it's a real gray area, but the police did say she was at fault, but they didn't cite her. So she's going through that whole thing. Now, that makes a difference because the people that actually hit her car, the man who was 78 years old, died 2 weeks later. So if they're saying she's at fault, they're basically saying she committed an involuntary, murder. So it's involuntary manslaughter, actually. I don't think she's going to jail or anything. But here's the thing. It messes with you. Anything, divorce, new marriage, all that stuff can either pick you up or bring you down. You know, but when somebody has died because you're at fault from this, even though there was pretty much nothing she could do. These cars are going through the light. She gets caught in the intersection. This light changes. It turns red. She's still in the middle of the intersection. This car slowed down, so she wasn't able to push through. Here come these cars. This car is doing I don't know how many miles an hour. Hits her. Bang. You know, elderly woman was driving. So being that she was in the intersection, she gets faulted for it. So it's almost, it could have happened to anybody. So when I make predictions, I look at that. Now this is just the beginning of my process. I look at that. I look at the favorites. I look at what's going on with them. And then I start looking at, you know, if they're doing a lot of commercials, you know, where their money's coming from. You know, are they up now? Are they down now? Are they injured? You know, what is their family doing? Is somebody in their family died? Makes a big difference to me. Do they have, you know, did they have a child? Did someone in their family have a child? You know, that makes it just makes a difference. It makes a difference. It makes a difference if it's public. Okay? Just want you guys to know that. It makes a difference to me if it's public. If it's circulating in the media, it makes a difference. If they get injured and nobody knows about it, then it doesn't make a difference to me. You know what I'm saying? Because one, I don't know about the injury. But let's say they get injured and it's not a big time media frenzy over it, but it's just, hey, so-and-so got injured. I noticed that. I'm just like, what is the injury? How long did the doctor say they can recover? Are they going to see a therapist? Those things matter to me. Is it a concussion? In football's case, is it a concussion? Is it a mild concussion? You know what I'm saying? In the case of football or in the case of baseball. In the case of tennis, you usually don't hear about people having concussions unless it's outside of the court. But as far as the injuries in tennis, groin injury, wrist injury, muscle injury, those injuries all take different times to heal. So back injury, because you're always, you know, swinging. So you might not have all the power in your, you know, forehand, overhand, your serve, you know what I'm saying? You know, and these are hours, these games goes for hours. So this stuff makes a difference to me. So this is the beginning of my process, just reading the news, reading to hear what's going on, looking at what they've done in the past, looking at who's won in the past, how old are they, you know what I mean? Who are the younger contenders? Because right now, I'm going to tell you right now, they're like, yeah, Federer is the guy to beat. Not to me. He's not the guy to beat. Well, let me say it like this. He doesn't get the nod for the win automatically to me. One, he's injured. Two, he's older. One thing going for him, he's been there before. Like, he's the big name. But he's the big name. He's the guy to knock off. What would be a better story? If he won again, or if somebody younger, faster, came along and knocked him off, now there's a new king of the hill, which sets up for next year or the next 2 years, as long as he's healthy enough to play until his health declines. Boom. So there's that whole thing. So just throwing that out there. I don't have any predictions yet, but just wanted to give you guys some of my process. It's your boy Tone 202, man. Hey, listen. God loves you guys. I'm out.